Hey guys, starting this video off with a clip that's probably not going to be very good quality, but I'm gotta start somewhere. So it is currently 12:08 p.m., which is why it's so dark out. I am making my way from Salt Lake City down to Zion. It's about a 4.5 hour drive. Going the route that I'm going, it's like a 5.5 hour drive if you go any other route. But thankfully, because there's a whole lot of Utah that's just, nothing. It's just desert. So I'm at the part of the ride where it's 222 miles, just go straight. And that's gonna be the bulk of my drive. Just gonna continue on this. And eventually get there. I will start just because there's something kind of cool out there, and I don't know if this will even work, but out in that direction, one of the things that is cool is that I can see Whitecap Mountains just lining the entire other side of like all these buildings. It's just these buildings and then massive mountains covered in snow. Probably not going to show up, but what may show up on this side is that tabernacle back there. I'm in Salt Lake City, I'm in Utah, so a lot of Mormonism going on. That's the third one I've passed. They are gigantic when you are close to them. Like, I was raised Catholic, and I tend to think that Catholics do it up when it comes to architecture and things like that, but man, these Mormon tabernacles are pretty impressive. They're somewhere between like a corporate office building and like one of those mega churches. You picture what is that, Joel something? I don't know, one of those guys preaching at. Hopefully it'll be a good view from here, or you'll just get to see the reflection of the phone. That's definitely more likely. Also, definitely not the thing to be doing while driving, but I'll be honest, there's no one else out on this side of the road with me, which is pretty nice. I have yet to find out what the police situation is in Utah, which hopefully goes unanswered, which would be an answer in and of itself, and I'll take that. So we'll see what happens. I shouldn't have said that out loud. Now I'm fucked. Like, all the cops in Utah are headed my way immediately. Whatever, I digress. The mountains again, we'll do this one more time just in case. And I'm also going to edit this, so whatever. Hopefully you can see, if I put the phone directly against the window, hopefully you can get some sort of impression of just these massive mountains. I'm going to have to look up what exactly they are. I believe I'm in what's called the Utah Valley, but that would tend to mean that there's supposed to be mountains on the other side of me as well, and I don't see mountains anywhere, so just on this side. Maybe the valley's on the other side of these mountains? Who knows? Something to research when I get to the hotel, or the lodge. Which, I'm staying in a Zion Lodge, which is right in the park. Apparently there's just no issue with me driving into the park at what's going to be 4 a.m. No rangers or anything. I thought there was going to be some issue with the gate. Like, I called the people in advance and they were like, nah, no problem, just drive on up, we'll be here. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully that is as easy as they make it sound. The reason why I'm getting here so late is because nothing has been as easy as it sounds today. Specifically, my flight was supposed to leave at 6:55 this morning, or yesterday morning, since now it's Tuesday. I was supposed to check into the lodge on Monday, which I'm obviously not going to be able to do. The Eagles won the Super Bowl yesterday, and that seemingly resulted in all of the airport security people taking off. So I stood in line for 3 hours in security and missed my flight. And then I got to hang out at PHL International for the next 12 hours because the next flight was going at 6:45 p.m. or 6:40 p.m. So I got to hang out in the airport all day, which really sucks. Let me just tell you, I hate that. And it's like, okay, I could go home and then just come back, but somehow that's worse. So yeah, I'm very well acquainted with the Philly airport, even more so than I already am. If you guys don't experience PHL at all, it's one of the worst fucking airports I ever go through. And unfortunately, it's like always my point of origin. It's like that's where I'm going to fly out from because that's what's close to my house. But goddamn, is that a ghetto ass airport? Like, I don't even know what else to say. 90% of the people are just walking around on their phones. Like, the people who work there, they don't give a fuck. The 6 people that showed up to work today were just hanging out, talking to each other, not helping passengers, not doing anything useful. I showed up straight up 10 minutes before the plane actually left, like, the ramp. But the one was like, oh, the door's closed, so I can't do anything. Sorry. I'm like, you could open the fucking door. Like, I'm the only person here. You understand that there's 3 people working security right now, and probably half this flight has missed, like, their ability to board. But no, that was too much effort for this lady. So at least she booked me on a flight for 12 hours later, and it didn't cost me any money. So whatever. I digress. I'm telling myself right now that I am through the annoying part of the trip. With any luck, the rest of this will go well. And I also tell myself that it's not really an adventure if everything goes according to a plan, right? So you gotta have some things that kind of mix it up. Sometimes they're positive things, sometimes they fucking suck, but that really is the trade-off. You kind of just gotta deal with it. So I have gotten past being angry at everyone at the airport. I say that I'm not going to use that airport ever again, but I've at least stopped letting it bothering me for my trip. And it seems like I've now gotten out of the actual Salt Lake City area. So I'm going to flip this real quick because I've been driving through kind of like a metro area. It's the desert, so you can just see everything in every direction. I don't know how this is going to work out, but I've gotten to the point where you can't really see, like, metropolitan areas. I was driving through something called, this is facing me again, and now you can't even see me. Alright, I'll flip it. So I was driving after Salt Lake City, driving through a town called Provo, which I tend to think of being short for provisional. I have no idea. It's kind of a weird town name. Like up the Provos. I don't know what to tell you. So, who knows? Probably some background or something like that. Probably not those Provos. But now that I've passed that, it's straight up turned into nothing. Which, of course, my lights aren't really doing it justice because it looks like it's bright out here. But can you see the mountains? Holy shit! Yes, you can from this view. All right, maybe not that zoomed out. There we go. Yeah, I mean, there is just like this range of mountains to my left, which I have to guess would be east. I'm mainly heading south. There is a truck in front of me. Ah, look at that though. There are some other mountains on this side. So, Utah Valley it is, if I had to guess. A whole bunch of nothing other than that. It's really amazing how I've just been driving through a metropolitan area this whole time and then it just stopped. Looks like maybe something is coming up, but looks a lot like this. A lot of nothing. I mainly just wanted to complain about the airport situation and let you guys know how it's gone so far. Haven't done anything exciting yet. I can tell you where all the Chickies and Beats are in PHL. That's what I've learned so far. Hopefully the rest of the trip's going to be a lot more eventful. I'll be there in 3 hours and 41 minutes. Can't wait. It's kind of funny because I get there at 4 a.m. and it's like, you can't go to sleep at that point. It's 4 a.m. What am I going to do? Sleep for an hour? So I'm probably going to push through. And I have a bunch of energy drinks as well. So I'm probably going to drink those and stay up and see if I can see the sunrise or something like that. Like, I might as well make the most of being awake at this hour because there's no way I'd be waking up early enough to see the sunrise otherwise. So yeah, I think that's probably the goal. Assuming I don't get there and just immediately crash, I'm hoping to get there, drop all my stuff off. I can't even remember whether I booked a room in the main lodge. I don't think I did. I think I booked a cabin that's like off to the side, which should be awesome. So hopefully I can just throw my stuff in there and then like post up outside, find a good spot. I can really picture a lot of the area from when I was there in May, and I think I know some good, at least some fairly close spots that might have a decent view out. I don't know, it's kind of at the bottom of the valley, so I'm sure that I'm not going to be seeing the sun, but I'm still probably going to try. So, let you know how that goes. I'm going to assume that the next 3 hours and 40 minutes are going to look exactly like this. So you can just use your imagination and think about how fun that is. I did watch a video while I was waiting in the airport on some guy who was traveling around India, and like all of his bus rides were 15, 16 hours. So I honestly can't complain. I've got my phone hooked up. I'm going to listen to audiobooks, whatever. It's going to be a good time. So I'll keep you posted, and hopefully we'll see some cool stuff. Just a real quick update. The speed limit is apparently 80. Fuck yeah, Utah. You're doing it right. Okay, it's been 2 hours of driving. Mountains are still there. Nothing is still up ahead. It's like, you think highway hypnosis is bad in Jersey or PA, where like there's stuff going on the sides. Like, this looks like exactly where I was showing you guys before. It's really kind of nuts how, like, to the left, I feel like I've been driving next to this the entire time. It's like one of those old toys where like the screen would just kind of move in the back, and like you'd have a fake little car that you can move left and right. That's how I feel. I'm going through and it's just the same mountain landscapes to my left, just going past over and over and over again. It's just, yeah, I don't think I'll ever get used to the whole there are no trees situation. Like, it's cool, but man, it's weird. Weird to me for sure. Alright, back to paying attention. Not that you can see anything, but it is actually a full moon and I can see things out here. I've arrived at the lodge. It's 4 a.m. It's really a shame you can't see all the silhouettes, because damn, is it cool to be back here. So I wasn't paying attention. I'm just walking around here, and I come across what appear to be some kind of deer. I mean, it's got a white tail, but that's not a white-tailed deer. It looks really brown in this. Or not in the camera, but in real life. All right, dudes are just chilling. Where'd they go? They're pretty decent antlers on that one. Only 4 points, but I mean, they're cool and they're pretty big. Buck and his does, I think. Very cool. Thoroughly unconcerned about me. Off to a good start. All right, I am officially back in Zion. Back on top of Watchman's Trail right now. I have a bunch of pictures from last time I was here. You get a pretty cool view of like the south entrance of the park. Let me sneak it up real quick so you can see. Road comes in from down there and goes up that way. I mean, it really is a canyon. You've got that side, which is the west, and this side, which is the east, and I mean, you go north and south. Can't really screw that up too bad because you are trapped in this canyon, which is awesome. Up here, just because I'm running on like 4 hours of sleep. I actually did this, like I just said, I did this last time. Doing it because it's one of the easier trails in the park. Easy to get to. It's only like a 2 hour out and back. And yeah, like I went to sleep at 5:30. I got up at 10:30. After 26 hours of traveling in all modes of transportation, I'm actually sitting here eating my airline cookies right now that I have. Surprisingly decent. So, yeah, just wanted to do something today at least. Get my legs stretched out. I am definitely feeling tired. And I need my rest because tomorrow I'm definitely going to do the Narrows. I went down, the visitor center is somewhere on the other side of this hill. Yeah, it's not over there. There's a museum up there. Have to hit that at one point. But the rangers in the station were telling me that, like, all the weather seems to be saying that there might be some rain on Thursday and Friday. It's currently Tuesday. It's really warm. It's absolutely beautiful out right now. Like, I'm in short sleeves. I keep taking my vest off because it's too hot. I got a coat in a bag and I'm not going to need it. But the water is apparently pretty cold. And like I was saying about being trapped in the canyon, like, you just do not want to be there if there's any sort of precipitation. Like, all of the water from the surrounding area is going to pour in from both sides and you're just trapped down there and you just drown. Like, if you look up fatalities in the Narrows, that's like one of the main reasons why people die out there. So I'm not going to mess around with that. And I'm going to do it tomorrow, and there's not supposed to be any rain. The ranger was telling me the main concern is just hypothermia, which, not to downplay hypothermia, but it's one of those things, like, if you're prepared for it, you should be able to avoid. I probably shouldn't say that, but I'm feeling pretty prepared in terms of anti-hypothermia gear that I've got. So yeah, I'm going to be putting all that on, going up first thing tomorrow morning, spending 8 hours walking around the water and the surrounding canyons and coming back. So it's going to be good. So today is definitely going to be an easy day. I'm zooming in here just because this is, I don't think this is Springfield itself. I think Springfield's technically over there. I don't know, Springfield's like the beginning of the park. This is actually in the park, so yeah, it's not Springfield. But you could see, maybe, you could see a little bit of traffic. There's a decent amount of people in the park. Not necessarily staying at the lodge, but I mean, when I was on my way up here, I passed probably 4 or 5 different groups of people who were walking up this way. You could kind of see some cars moving in. It's nice though, it's not the bad kind of traffic. I didn't have anyone tailgating me, and it's like, that's such a stupid thing to say, but God, I feel like every time I drive in these national parks, there's someone who's like really got somewhere to be. He's got to get to the other side of Acadia, like right fucking now, and he's gonna drive right behind you the whole time. It sucks. It's not the way to see a park. This is the way to see a park, sitting at the top of it, eating half decent biscuits. And, yeah. Hanging out, enjoying the view. I should have some really good videos coming up. I think today is going to be a matter of, I'm going to walk back down. My car's somewhere down there and to the left. So that's going to take me another hour to get back. Do that. That'll bring me to like 3 o'clock. I'll probably go drive up just to check out what's going on near the Narrows. I am going to drive up there tomorrow and park my car just so I don't have to walk all the way up in my waders. Yeah, other than that, was that a person or a deer? Oh, it's a person. Lame. There were some deer. They look kind of like weird, darker white-tailed deer. They're smaller, darker. They do have white tails though, so who knows? I feel like that thing in the middle is something that I can't remember the name of, but it's really amazing. You can see a lot of this is like, I mean, it's a cliff face. So you're gonna get the different lines from like the different eras, eons, whatever. But then like at the top, it's so smooth. And like having been up on similar things just farther down the park, like it is really, really smooth, which is kind of scary because you could just slide the entire way down. At least on these things, it's like, I've got footholds. There's like plenty of space that if I fell, I would just like land on other rocks. Like not up there, you just slide, which is wild. yeah, other than the Narrows, I think I'm going to, I spent a lot of time, like I was just saying, climbing around things like that when I was here in May. That's on the West Rim. I don't think I'm going to hit the West Rim at all unless I decide to go up early and do Angel's Landing for some reason. I can't imagine I'm going to want to do that. It's surprising how little interest I have in Angel's Landing. It's like everything else in the park is cooler than that. Like, that's just the thing people know for some reason. So, yeah, there's an East Rim Trail. I'm going to hit that at some point, climb around up at the top of this. Might be able to get to the top of this, which would be cool. I wonder what the view was like. I'd really like to climb that guy, but I don't know how you get up there. Like, that view's got to be incredible from up there. You probably need a rope and climbing gear. Yeah, that's the tentative plan. There's a couple restaurants in the lodge. The lodge is half decent. I'll need to show you what it's like. I mean, it's a lodge. It was probably built here in like the 60s. But whatever. It's got all the things that you need except for a refrigerator. Gonna go up, see what the restaurants are like. See if there's any other adventurous people who feel like doing the Narrows with me tomorrow. That would be cool. I feel like anyone who's staying in Zion Lodge in the middle of February probably is like-minded. So fingers crossed. Should be a good rest of the trip. I'll keep you posted. All right, I lied. I took the last video down there. I said I was gonna head back. Still kind of up here, but like, there was a way to climb up this thing. It really doesn't look like anything from the camera, which sucks because I'm, I don't know, 50 yards higher up than I was. The thing is, the reason why it's kind of interesting, it's actually the hardest part of the whole damn thing, because this is all just sand. Everything else is like rocks. This you just sink into and it moves when you try to push up on it. Not great. Like you can see, I've got to go back down this. That's literally the path. And it connects up down there, but it's like, I'm taking it slow and using my hands, because damn, I'm sliding getting up here. You get a really cool view though. At the end of the day, isn't that what it's all about? Something like that. You know, just because I didn't get to do this when I was here in May, because I was with people just throughout that whole tour. And I was with one girl in Zion who, me and her just hit 26 miles in this park in one day. And it was nuts. But it wasn't a good time for me to be taking up my phone and walking and talking. I don't have much more to say than what I was saying up there. At least not off the top of my head, but this is walking down from Watchman Trail. This is pretty much what most of the trails look like. So, run this for a minute. You guys can get kind of an idea of the situation. It's up and down, walking along the side of cliffs. Let's back up kind of where I was. Then that's down. You'd be all right if you fell off the trail. You just break all your bones, but you wouldn't die, probably. just hit hundreds of rocks on the way down. I know I mentioned it earlier, but it really is just a cool feeling. Like being in this canyon, being boxed in is awesome. You know what? Where's my, I got a map. God damn it. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So, that's not gonna work. So I'm down here, that's Watchman's Trail, right next to the visitor center. But like, you can see, you come in down here where Springfield is, where the entrance is, and the road just goes south to north. And it stops at the top. There's the Narrows, which is literally just a canyon full of water. And that's it. West Rim Trail, you've got East Rim Trail, It's not on this map. Interesting. There is an East Rim Trail right over here. I have a better map than this. It's just what they give you at the visitor center. But it really makes it clear, like, there's canyons on both sides. Or mountains on both sides. You are in this north-south canyon. And that's it. If you wanted to go out the side, you couldn't. Like, oh, I want to go to the west. Like, good fucking luck. Get past that somehow. Obviously, there's trails that people have made, but they're basically this. You just do this as a switchback back and forth. When I did the West Rim in May, which, I mean, is easily as high as that, if not higher. And I'm starting down at the bottom, just like I did for this. You just do switchbacks all the fucking way up. Hey, I cannot stress enough how many switchbacks. Just some of the most intense switchbacks I've ever seen in my life. I didn't even know you could make some so narrow and steep. But you're taking like 6 steps in one direction at like this angle, turn around doing the same thing in another direction, just all the way up. And I'll tell you, that sucks. It's cool when you get to the top, but man, I'm picturing those switchbacks to get to the top, and I'm like, I'm sure that's going to be the case on East Rim too, and I'm going to have to do that on Thursday. Man, glad I've been training for this. You can also probably hear that it's windy out. Not necessarily cold, but I did put my vest back on after I hung out at the top for a little bit because it's really windy. Kind of comes with the territory in a canyon around mountains. Like, on one hand, you could find spots where you're really protected. On the other hand, you're dealing with wind tunnels. Like whatever I just came around the corner to. Yeah, so I'm gonna stop it here. There's a gorge down there, but you can see the trail continues on that direction. I'm literally just going to walk this way, circle around, go that way. It goes all the way down. I think it loops back around down there. You just can't see it. Again, very much what you're going to get everywhere that you're walking here, which is not a problem. All right, check in later. While I'm doing animals of the desert, more nice ones to come across. Not sure what kind of, I don't know, it's probably a gecko, some kind. Oh, there's other ones, anoles. I never know how to say that. Kind of similar. Just cool little lizards. See them running all over the place. Okay, here's something I was gonna forget to say. The only concern about the Narrows isn't hypothermia. There's also something called cyanoplasmosis, something to that effect. I'll put the word up in here when I look it up later. I think it's like one of those brain-eating amoebas that you always hear about, like people getting in random lakes or stagnant water. Apparently this water is full of it. It was like, don't drink the water whether or not you have a filter, so I left my life straw at home, not even had the temptation. And also, do not submerge your head in the water, which is a shame because it's like, it's perfectly clear. It's beautiful looking water. I mean, it's all snow melt. It's just coming off the mountain, so there's nothing like making it murky. Like, it looks really nice, and during the summer it's like, it'd be nice to kind of swim around in here, but nope, brain-eating amoebas. So the more you know. All right, so I'm scoping out the Narrows for tomorrow, just to make sure everything's all right. The flow rate is like 100 cubic feet per second, about 100 less than what I was dealing with in May, which is nice. You can see up there, there's the walkway to get down here. It's just like a mile-long walkway from the shuttle stop, which the shuttle's not running, but from the parking lot down to here, and then you basically just start walking through this. You'll get to see it tomorrow. I'm taking this just because I'm at the bottom Like I was talking earlier about West Rim Trail and East Rim Trail. Like West Rim Trail is up there, and East Rim Trail is like up there, and I'm down here. And like to give you some scale, there's some people. Like you can't get a sense of scale looking at it through a camera, to be honest. It's just wild how big everything is. But the point of this is, like when you're up on West Rim Trail and you're walking the trail and you're kind of around there, it feels like, okay, I'm at the bottom and here's the ground, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, nah, just kidding. You're just at the top of a different canyon. And like, I'm gonna have to put some pictures up here to kind of show you what it looks like from the top. But it's always crazy because just no matter where you are, it feels like you can always fall another, I couldn't even guesstimate how big this is, but you can always fall down another cliff. This is like 8 eras of dinosaurs going on here, and there's more up above that. Yeah, not something you want to run into. Speaking of which, I hope there's less people tomorrow. They aren't necessarily in the water, but they're all kind of hanging out. I'm going to get here early enough for it not to be an issue, but surprised by the amount of people here on a work day in February. Oh, also it got a lot colder when I came up here. Not just because of the water, I mean probably because of the water and probably because I'm down lower, but at the same time there's no sun. Once I drove past a certain part, the sun just stopped. It's kind of crazy, but it was also cool. All right, on to the next one. Okay, I'm walking from the grotto, which is like a picnicky area over there. It's a half-mile trail from the lodge, and it still had some daylight, so figured I'd walk it. It's easy. It's like pretty much flat. But I also needed, and you could probably hear it, a walking stick, which I now have. Now, I don't normally need a walking stick. I also don't own any of those like walking poles or anything like that. I normally fail to see how it's ever useful. However, since I'm walking through a river tomorrow, I know that when I tried to do that in May, if I didn't have a stick, I would have gone under the water at some point. So I needed a stick. Decent, whatever. Just found it on the side. I've just been sitting there ripping some bark off to make it slightly nicer to deal with. And the reason for that is you could either, more deer. I really gotta look up what those are. The thing is, so you can rent down at the same place that you could rent like a dry suit for like gigantic waders, which is why I went out and bought my own because I didn't feel like renting them. But you can also rent a stick, and I absolutely refuse to pay money to rent a stick like that. No. And apparently they were like used shovel handles and things like that. So it's just like a piece of wood, and they're going to rent it to you for like $5 a day. And that's not a lot of money, but there's no fucking way I'm giving someone $5 to rent a stick. I'm going to give the stick back at the end of the day. Are you kidding me? Like, no, just ridiculous. So my second stop was, I wanted to see if the gift shop had any for sale. Cause I was like, all right, if I could buy one for $5, that's half decent. Like, it's slightly better than renting it. Even then though, it kind of pissed me off. So I went in there, and the cheapest thing you could buy was a 3-piece collapsible stick that was like 3 sticks that would screw together, kind of like a pool cue sort of thing. And they were charging $25. And I'm just, there's no way I'm paying it, but it's also like, that needs to be my job. Come out here and sell sticks to people in the fucking woods like there aren't sticks. Oh, down there, look at that. $250 worth of stick rentals right there, one day. Boom. Go down and pick up some sticks, sell them to schmucks in the gift shop. Ridiculous. All right, this guy has survived the test run as well, so hopefully tomorrow it's going to be a good one, and it's not going to fall short. I guess we'll see what happens. Okay, just real quick, this is Zion Lodge. It's the main building. It's a gift shop. There's a beer garden. There's a cafe. No idea if the beer garden's open. A giant tree. There's some of these, I don't know, condo-esque sort of things. I'm in like a cabin sort of thing on the other side of it. Looks really cool with the sun going down. Mainly just showing you this building and letting you know that now that the sun has gone down behind the canyon walls, it has gotten significantly colder. Like, I don't know, 10 to 20 degrees it feels. So, yeah, something to plan for.